Come on, you're off, dude. Welcome to Hashtag After Dark. Tonight we're going to be talking about everything and all things X-Men related.
X-Men.
No audio, of course. But of course, no audio. We're live now.
Should be audio.
That's what they said. That's what Kat said, no audio. Wow, everyone looks dressed up. We are in our X-Men gear. She's wearing Rogue. I'm wearing Cyclops. Can you guys hear us? Anna, can you let us know if you can hear us? If so, let us know. Let's see. Do you think they can hear us?
I don't know. Can you hear what
Well, there's a delay,
I
so we're
hear?
going to find out right now.
We're going to do Black Bolt.
Yeah. Hear that they did? Okay. Hi. Audio is back.
Yes. Audio is back. Welcome to Hashtag After Dark.
So tonight we're going to be talking about some of our favorite X-Men episodes of the animated series. We're going to be talking about our fan cast for the possibility of the MCU acquiring the X-Men back.
Do you think we have some of the same castings?
What age range did you go?
Mine
are like
30s.
mid-30s. Yeah, so then we
Mid-20s to
Man,
mid-30s.
we might. It's possible. We are also going to be talking about the big news this week, which is the possible acquisition of Fox, the Fox creative side, from Disney. No, to Disney, we'll say. But there's rumors that might not be a thing, but we're still hearing that it is a thing. So
Yes.
Who knows? But right now we can live in fantasy land and pretend like it really is a thing. But before we do all that, we're gonna let you guys know what we're gonna be talking about. Number one is some of the things we have. The Super Chat feature. Migdalia, what is the Super Chat feature?
Super Chat feature, if you see on the bottom of the live chat, that little S sign there, that means support that hashtag show. Please click on that to support the show over here so that we can possibly get things to not have technical difficulties, which would be great for all of us and great for you as well.
Yeah, we also have that THS Hashtaggers group, which keeps the conversation going. So we have geek news from around every kind of website out there. If you're an anime fan, a Riverdale fan, a horror fan, X-Men or Power Rangers, you can find it right there at the THS Hashtaggers group. And that is a community for the fans, by the fans. And also, last but not least, we have our TeePublic store. So any kind of geek wear that you like, kind of like what we have on now, you could check that out, and that's at our TeePublic store. That also helps support the show, so do that. And also, if you tweet out a link to the show, we will retweet you.
Yes.
And we will get that going. But first of all, Migdalia, I gotta ask, who is your favorite X-Man?
Ooh.
And why?
My favorite X-Men based on the comics and the animated series has to be Rogue. Because she is just a strong, kind of sassy Southern belle. She had one of the sexiest dudes in X-Men. On and off. Gambit. And I love that she had that. She has that kind of passion and fire, and yet she has vulnerability because she can't touch anyone with her skin. So that was always very... that was very intriguing to me.
In the chat, I also want to know who your favorite X-Man was. My favorite, I'm spoiling it, Cyclops. Now, I know that Cyclops isn't a popular choice.
I hate Cyclops.
He's the best.
But not as much as I hated Wolverine.
I hate Wolverine too. But the reason I like Cyclops is because I always looked at him as Xavier's dream. But then once he actually... So Joss Whedon actually made Cyclops... Well, actually Grant Morrison made him a really interesting character. Joss Whedon took it to a whole new level. And then after that, Brian Michael Bendis moved Cyclops into a completely new direction, which I really liked. I feel like Cyclops is underutilized. Now, totally. He's like dead in the comics.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, now, but back then he had some real depth and sketchiness.
The reason I didn't like Cyclops, I mean, I like Cyclops, always loved Cyclops, but back then, they always made him Xavier's like lackey, and I didn't like. He has more than that, and I feel like now we're just starting to see that Cyclops shine through.
Yeah, but not in the Joss Whedon.
No, the Joss Whedon one front and center. He was amazing. That's where he created X-Force, the X-Men Black Ops team. We needed that Cyclops. But who do you think is the most underutilized X-Men currently?
Storm.
I think it's Gambit.
Wait,
Gambit's. I don't even know if
but
Gambit's in a
isn't
comic
he? He's
book.
like a B player.
But he's getting his own movie. He shouldn't be a B player.
He's getting his own movie because Lauren Donner Schuler's in love with Channing Tatum.
And also,
why he's getting his own
B player.
movie.
Back in the 90s when we were growing up, he was top and center with Wolverine as like the most popular X-Man.
Yeah, no, I love animated series Gambit.
Now look what happened to him.
I love comic of a Gambit, but to warrant a whole movie, I don't know.
Well, you know, if this
I think they're gonna ruin it.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree. I personally wish they would have had Steven Soderbergh direct a Gambit movie, like make it a real heist movie. All right, so how did you get introduced to the X-Men? Was it through the animated series?
Yeah. I don't know, because I was really young. I don't know when it premiered, but I feel like I was 6 or 7, and I just started watching it.
It looks like
that's when I first got into comics, too.
It looks like in the chat that the most popular X-Man is Rogue. Kat likes Rogue. Anna also likes Rogue. Ryan actually likes Storm.
Storm is a queen.
So it's funny that they're called the X-Men, but the most popular characters and the strongest female superheroes, I believe, reside in the X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, Rogue is superhuman. She doesn't have like a wholesome past.
That's one thing I love about them.
A good guy in the beginning.
She was a thief on the mean streets of Cairo.
She stole Captain Marvel's power. And Miss Marvel was Miss Marvel at the time. No,
you're thinking of Rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Rogue. Okay,
yeah,
I'm talking about Storm, the mean streets of Cairo being a thief.
Yeah.
So then we have the both of them, Rogue and Storm. Obviously, Jean Grey, who's the Phoenix. Psylocke has always been a badass.
The Phoenix storyline in the animated series always killed me because I did not give two craps.
Why?
It was so over dramatic. The best thing about it was them bringing Lilandra.
No, the best thing about it was one of my favorite episodes where the X-Men had to fight against the Imperial Guard, where and the X-Men were up backs against the wall, a losing battle. And the Phoenix Force comes out. And remember in the animated series, she comes out in her old Marvel girl uniform?
Yes.
It was great. It was an amazing episode. And then she ends up dying in the end.
It was just like, it was a whole season of them fighting about Jean and screaming about Jean. And melodramatic.
I think that was kind of cool, though. Mainly because in the first season of the show, they concentrated on everybody except Jean. Because if you remember, Jean was always back. Remember Night in the Sentinels? Jean was back at the X-Mansion, like telepathically linking everybody. And everybody else would do all the dirty work. And then you get like towards the later episodes and Jean's front and center. And I really like that.
And also, it's just like Wolverine being a major creep. Like, she said no. She doesn't want you. She has a boyfriend. Like, you're coming up in their house trying to be a homewrecker. I just didn't like that stage 5 clingy business.
I personally think the animated series Jean was a stronger representation of Jean in the movies. Mainly because
I don't entirely agree with that.
I do, mainly because in the movies, especially she was just kind of like a love interest and a third wheel, whereas in the
first movie, I will agree with that.
In the comics, I mean not in the comics, but in the animated series, I even felt that she was, and I'm a Cyclops fan, she was a little bit more prominent than him in a lot of cases. I mean, he was the one calling the shots, but definitely the stories revolved more around her.
I know, really Cyclops was a total puss face, like in the animated series. He was dumbed down a lot.
I know, which I don't like. Serenity says that Gambit is an astonishing X-Men. You don't read that book? I did not read Astonishing X-Men.
I did read Astonishing X-Men. I'm not saying Gambit is not an interesting character or I don't like Gambit. I think he's going to be ruined when he gets into the Fox MCU.
Well, I also think that ever since the early 2000s, the last big Gambit storyline that we had was in the early 2000s where Gambit and Jean Grey led the team and Chris Claremont came back. It was actually 2000. Chris Claremont came back to the story. This is right after Cyclops died. And Gambit and Rogue both led different teams. Mm-hmm. Gambit led a team, and then Rogue led a team. And it was like Nightcrawler, Cable, Psylocke, Angel, a bunch of them. That was the last time I felt that Gambit was prominent in the comics.
Yeah.
It hasn't been really since then, since we've had much. Like AVX, he didn't really do anything. Mm-hmm. I think he fought Captain America once and got beat up.
Oh, come on.
And then Cyclops has really come into his own as his main character. Also, same thing with Rogue. I think Rogue has been a popular character and has remained a popular character.
And they totally annihilated her character in the movies. But let me ask you something. Jean and Cyclops or Rogue and Gambit?
Jean and Cyclops.
Rogue and Gambit.
Classic.
They are sexy, okay?
Classic X-Men couple with the most problems, Jean and Cyclops.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like Ross and Rachel, Buffy and Angel.
Okay, better love triangle though. Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto. Jean, Cyclops, and Emma.
Jean, Cyclops, and Emma, because the whole Magneto Rogue thing's kind of creepy, and I loved it. Not
the creepiness? You love the creepiness?
No, it's so immoral that Cyclops cheated on Jean, but I thought that was the hottest thing that he's ever done, and like that turned him into a real character for me. Just because I was like, oh, he's not this Captain America-ish character. Like, he can get real dirty like Professor X.
Yeah, I mean, I think that shows that was the turning point on Cyclops, where a lot of people knew that he was more than just a one-dimensional, like, Xavier's lackey boy.
And he either lost fans or he gained fans. Like, I love the whole Emma Cyclops relationship.
I personally like Cyclops the most because I feel like he is Xavier's dream to the nth degree. For example, he followed Xavier's dream all the way through to the point where he almost ended up becoming like Magneto. I like the fact that they didn't pull the curtain back on that. The one reason I hate Wolverine is because he's
one.
Well, he's an overused character,
Ugh.
and he's the fanboy's wet dream. And what I mean by that is when Wolverine was in like the early '80s with Kitty Pryde, Wolverine was the first one that would always be like, you know what, like, Kitty needs to come with us and be an X-Man and fight on the team, and everyone else is like, no, she's just a kid. And then you get AVX where you get, it's called Schism. Schism is where the mutants are dwindling down, and then Cyclops is like, we don't have very many mutants to defend our island. We need to use everybody we can. Wolverine's like, whoa, they're just kids. And I was like, what? You're the guy that was what? So I don't like that they would write Wolverine. And there's also, I always reference this. There's also after AVX came out, there was a great comic. It was a team up with Cyclops and Captain America. And it sums up why I hate Wolverine in almost one sentence or two sentences. Captain America, this is after, spoiler if you haven't read AVX, but this is after Cyclops kills Xavier. And Captain America goes, I don't work with murderers. And then Cyclops turns to him and he goes, tell Wolverine I said hi, because he was on the Avengers. So I was like, that's a perfect, like, mic drop, Cyclops. I like it.
We didn't tell them about our giveaway.
Oh, yeah, we have a couple giveaways. So later on in the show, we're going to be doing X-Men Fancast. We also want to hear your X-Men Fancast. We're going to be doing the animated series X-Men. The winner of who we choose the Fancast is going to win this Thor Ragnarok shirt and this Hulk mask. And this is given to us by Fandango.
Yes.
Fandango.com. You can go to them to get all your movie ticket needs. We obviously have Just League coming up, so check out Fandango.com. They got great deals there, and you can win this. But yes, Serenity says...
Oh, and please post it to the Facebook hashtaggers group so we can go back and see it.
Yes. Serenity says Gambit and Rogue Magneto because I could see Rogue with either. Scott, Jean only need to be with each other, period. They are soulmates and meant to be.
No, they are not soulmates. Soulmates don't cheat on each other.
I do kind of agree with Serenity on this. It's Scott and Jean.
No, did Buffy cheat on Angel? Did Angel cheat on Buffy?
Yes.
No, those are soulmates.
No, they didn't. They cheat on each other?
No.
What about Spike? Didn't she get with Spike?
They weren't Buffy and Angel weren't in a relationship.
Oh.
That's what cheating is. Do you know what cheating is?
Jean was dead, I think, when he got with Emma.
No, she was not dead.
Well, she was about to die.
Oh, doesn't count.
It counts.
You're about to die, so should your future girlfriend cheat on you because you're about to die?
If I'm about to die.
Oh my God. Anyway, no one date Joe. Obviously, he doesn't know what the
Serenity. Yes,
is.
I do. We both dislike Wolverine, actually.
Since when?
Didn't you just say you dislike Wolverine?
No, he said, wait, you hate Wolverine since when?
Oh. Yeah, he is overused. I used to at least respect the dude before they went Wolverine. Yeah, I completely agree with this. Mm-hmm. Wolverine is the most overused character. And that's why I'm kind of like sour on Deadpool, too, a little bit.
Because they keep mentoring Wolverine?
No, because it's an oversaturated character that you just see. It's
you mean Deadpool the character?
Shoved in your face.
I think because you go to conventions.
Well, also in the comics, I feel like Deadpool's on the cover of like everything, but like maybe it's because Gwenpool and all this other stuff that's going on. But I'm not a big Wolverine fan. But
no, it's just he's shoehorned in everything.
Yeah, low key, I'm a big Iceman fan. I do like Iceman. Mm-hmm. I also like that Iceman, the younger version of Iceman, kind of got came out as gay, and the older version I don't think is. So I think it's kind of like an interesting storyline.
I was like, all right.
But the X-Men have been solid and strong for years and years and years. Okay.
Except cinematically, but.
Cinematically. So let's talk about that for a second.
Spidey and MJ. Yeah, Spidey and MJ are like down there. Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy.
Let's talk about the news of Marvel possibly acquiring, or I should say Disney possibly acquiring the Fox creative side. Now, a lot of people are saying this is dead in the water, and there are reports that this deal isn't going to happen, but it's not official yet. It's not official one way or another. So what we do know from the talks are Disney would acquire Fox TV, Fox Films, and all the creative properties. They would not acquire Fox Sports and Fox News because that is considered a monopoly since they already own ABC News. So with this news, how does that make you feel?
I never thought I saw the day where they would even go to the negotiation table. I still believe that Fox will not give up any of those properties.
Well,
not easily anyway.
Like
they have to be overtaken.
I feel like the talks have already been there, especially with Legion and The Gifted have permission from Marvel to make those. So there's a definite, at the very least, some type of communication going on, right?
But that's of little worth. Fox TV is different than Fox Films. Fox doesn't have a franchise. X-Men and Fantastic Four are their only franchises. They have nothing else to fall back on.
They had Daredevil.
Okay, but outside the superhero properties, because that's what Disney wants.
You kidding me? They have Avatar. They have.
They just got back Avatar, but that was out of.
No, they've always had Avatar. Fox has always had Avatar.
This hasn't been released.
Aliens
hasn't been doing too well.
They have a lot of franchises.
They want a Fast and the Furious. They want a Marvel MCU.
But
they want a Harry Potter.
They can do that.
They can do that, but if they pay attention and try to make good quality stuff, but they haven't had a Hunger Games or a Harry Potter or any of that.
I mean, they have. I mean, if we look at Fox properties, I'm sure. Oh, they have Kingsman.
Kingsman's not really a franchise.
Well, there's two of them, so I can.
That's not a franchise. It could be a trilogy. That doesn't make a franchise.
Well, I think that they're gonna try to continue Kingsman on for a while. And realistically, though, I know it's been a while since Avatar, but that is a franchise.
Now it's a franchise, but we didn't know where it was gonna go. It's just one film.
It's very true. But I think it's. I don't think the deal is more so for the creative properties they can make in the future. I think it's more so for the what they can put on streaming now, because we know that Disney is looking heavily into getting to the streaming game, and there's a lot of Fox properties that they could get.
Yeah, here. I don't think Netflix has a lot of Fox. They don't have any of the X-Men films on there. They never have. I was like, my feet. I mean. They haven't had Daredevil, the film, on there, so that is an interesting observation there. Yeah, so,
Serenity's right. There are conflicting reports whether the negotiations are still on or off. We don't know either way. The last I heard was yesterday. As of yesterday, the person that broke the story said that the negotiations are still in talks, but it's a lot lighter than it was earlier in the week.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a couple more years, maybe.
Yeah, I would assume. But let's be real about it. If Disney did acquire Fox, I don't think we'd be seeing the X-Men cinematically for a good 4 or 5 years.
What I think will happen first is they'll get streaming rights.
Right.
So and they'll get their old library.
I think something that'll happen. We'll for sure see the Fantastic Four a lot faster than we'll see the X-Men. Mainly because the X-Men are a proven franchise, and I think that the way that Marvel kind of works is that, especially something like Daredevil, they want you to get that taste out of the other studio in your mouth. So they'll wait a while because let's be real, the Avengers are very successful, and Marvel currently is very successful.
And so there's no room for the X-Men, to be honest, right now.
Not right now. But who knows? We don't know if we got another phase coming, but we got more Marvel things coming, so maybe they can implement it there. But that's the negotiation right now.
And I want to see what happens to Dark Phoenix.
But then we also have current X-Men franchises that are already still in the works. Deadpool coming out in February. We also have New Mutants on the horizon, which is going to be, it looks like a horror movie. And then also, of course, Dark Phoenix and X-Force. So it's not like Fox is really hurting, and Gambit. So it's not like they're really hurting for more movies. Do you actually think we're actually going to get a Gambit movie?
So they say we're in production. We're on day 2. I'm not believing anything right now. I think they just signed another director. I think another director just got confirmed, so we'll have to see. But until I see people on set.
Gore Verbinski or something?
Verbinski.
He did the Pirates of the Caribbean film. Or the first couple, I think. I don't know. I'm excited that Gambit, well, because you know what? Realistically, Taylor Kitsch now playing the role with a different director, I would really like his Gambit, though I didn't choose him. I don't know if you did or not. So yeah, I'm not quite sure where.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not quite sure where the X-Men franchise goes from here, Fox-wise, but all the exciting information we would be able to get with a Marvel Cinematic X-Men. I can't. Imagine building up the next big phase to AVX.
Yeah.
Man, that'd be so cool.
So big.
All right, so real quick, what's your favorite X-Men storyline, and what's your favorite X-Men animated series episode?
Oh, I told you, all these episodes blend together. The storyline, I want to say Genosha, but it kind of also annoyed me. Isn't that the one where Jubilee and Wolverine were like captured as slaves or whatever?
Gambit.
Was it Gambit?
Yeah, Jubilee and Gambit.
Was that in Genosha?
Yeah, that was in like the first season. They went on a vacation. It was Rogue, Jubilee, Gambit, and Storm.
Yeah.
And they put Storm was claustrophobic. We kept getting flashbacks to that.
Yeah. So that was interesting because they did flesh out Storm a little bit. All you got was her making dramatic statements in her man voice. The voice acting on here was extra.
It was. For me, I think I was just talked about this last week. I think my favorite storyline is Dark Phoenix. The whole Dark Phoenix saga was brilliant to me. I loved seeing that. And I don't know if anybody else remembers this. I remember Fox doing X-Men in prime time for their second season. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Oh, I know which one I like too. It's the one Rogue's backstory, season 2, episode 9.
Was that where the one she steals Cody's power and almost kills him?
Yeah, and like meets up with Mystique. Like I love that whole thing.
Days of the Future Past was good. Where Bishop comes back and Mystique turns into Gambit. Mm-hmm. That was a good one too.
That was a good one.
My favorite X-Men comic storyline of all time though has to be Onslaught. And I know it's so funny because I went back as an adult to read it, and it reads like a 90s comic, but it's everything I loved about 90s comics. Mm-hmm. So, but I always wanted them to adapt Onslaught for the animated series. It just never happened.
So easy. And in relation to that, my favorite comic one is the New X-Men with Cassandra. What's her last name? Cassandra Nova. Charles Xavier's unborn twin.
That was a Grant Morrison story.
Yeah, that was so dark and twisted. It was crazy. I really loved that. And yeah, the Onslaught thing, that would have been perfect for the movies to do.
Yeah, and also when Morph came back as a villain, where he had the dark bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
When he came back as Sinister's like implant or whatever.
Would you have rather seen Onslaught instead of Dark Phoenix for the cinematic?
Ooh.
Because they already did Dark Phoenix.
100%.
They already did it.
I would love to have seen, 100%. I wish that was, because that makes sense. The reason so I don't know if a lot of people know this, but in the actual comics, when Bishop makes his first appearance, it's Uncanny X-Men 282, and it's Bishop and 2 other police cops, mutant cops at the time, and Bishop gets a message from Jean Grey, and it's pretty much like, oh, he's like, it's wiping us all out, like it's the traitor, it's the ex-traitor storyline where he goes, where Bishop has to go back in time and stop the ex-traitor. And that storyline doesn't get paid off until Onslaught. Because you find Bishop and he's like, no, this is exactly what I remember from his... It's so cool that it's a callback all the way. And that's what Bishop remembers. It's that scene of Jean talking because he sees it on the monitor. Mm-hmm. He thinks it's going back to Gambit because Gambit is the witness in his storyline that witnesses everything because he's the only one left. But it's Xavier. Mm-hmm. What a twist. I loved it. I loved it so much. But yeah, I really, really wish they would have done that. I really wish they would have.
Serenity is also a fan of Dark Phoenix storyline.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Panther says the storyline with Morph is a classic.
Great, it's great. Do you remember Wolverine in the X-Men, the animated series at all?
Yeah, he was like some meathead, hairy ass meathead. I was not feeling it.
Wait, which? Is this the one where this is the one where he takes over the team?
Oh, you mean Wolverine and an X-Men?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
You said the animated series.
Yeah, it was an animated series. It's called Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah, but you just said, do you remember Wolverine and X-Men?
Oh, no.
Series?
Oh, yeah. Wolverine and the X-Men, the animated series. You remember that?
I do remember it. I don't think I watched much of it. Because Wolverine. Not interested.
And this is where I think Jean died. Like, oh, this is where Xavier goes crazy. It's kind of like the Days of the Future Past movie because Xavier freezes everything. Mm-hmm. Jean kind of goes disappear. Or maybe it's Jean that freezes everything. Yeah, it's Jean. She disappears. Cyclops is distraught. Wolverine has to take over the team. But the reason I love that series is because at the end of it, you see Xavier's stuck somewhere else in a different timeline. Of course, and at the end of it though, you see it's the Age of Apocalypse though, and I've always wanted to see that in the X-Men animated series too, and never got a chance to see that.
Well, didn't Apocalypse show up a couple times?
Well, yeah, but not the Age of Apocalypse where it's like evil Cyclops.
Oh, okay.
They did that, and oh yeah, this one's for you, Morph. You remember that? The season finale of season 1. I love that show so much. And I remember that's the episode too where Cyclops. Remember, Cyclops leads Morph and Wolverine punches him in the stomach. And in the finale, they're all fighting all the Sentinels at Master Mold, and Cyclops is just like, "I'm not leaving anyone behind, not this time." You remember that?
Barely. They did the Netflix format. They were the first ones.
Hulu?
Yeah, X-Men the animated series. Like season 1's 13 episodes.
Oh,
season
yeah,
2 is 13
yeah.
episodes. I remember because they always played reruns. I'm like, oh, I saw this episode 5 times over already.
Yeah, so I loved X-Men the animated series. And this is my love of this character. So the one thing that we here at Hashtag Show, or Migdalia and I are doing, is we are fan casting our version of the X-Men in the MCU. Who fits the best in our MCU's X-Men? We want you guys to vote in the chat, and also we want to see who you guys chose. So we used the X-Men the animated series cast. I think only one of our villains differ. I use Sabretooth, and you use
Sebastian Shaw.
Mm-hmm. But so that's kind of like a wash. But other than that, follow along with who we cast. You guys can vote, and also in THS hashtaggers, put who you would like to see in these roles.
To be eligible
to win the exclusive Thor Ragnarok Hela shirt and the Hulk mask provided by Fandango.com.
You're the dumb Avenger.
Okay, so let's start it off. We got to start it off at the top, right? Professor Charles Xavier.
You want to go there? All right.
I think we go Professor Charles
leader?
Xavier first.
One of the leaders?
You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yes, you go first.
All right, so
Both on the same image.
well, really?
Oh.
We both got the same character?
No.
They're both our characters.
Both images are on the same.
Oh, okay.
Because of how I have it.
So my choice for Professor Charles Xavier is none other than Mark Strong.
Okay.
The reason I went with Mark Strong is because he seems the leader type. He's familiar with the comic book movie world, and he looks like he could be a more stern, badass Xavier.
Okay.
I really like Mark Strong for the role.
All right. Mine is Bryan Cranston.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I believe he was one of the Fancast favorites early on. I think before James McAvoy was cast. Listen, if you've seen Breaking Bad, you know this guy can do dirty, he can do sympathetic.
And he can do fatherly, which is really important.
Yes, he could do fatherly. He's pretty much an alpha male. I can see, and he was Zordon. But that Power Rangers franchise probably died, so he needs somewhere else to go. So that's why I chose Bryan
You
Cranston.
think he's going to want to shave his head again? Because Mark Strong's already bald. So I think that's like a thing.
I mean, his hair's going to go at some point, so we might as well just shave it off.
All right, so Blackwing says, "Oh, Mark for sure can do that." So that's our first. So we want to hear what you think of our Professor Xavier casting. Migdalia, call out.
I do like Mark Strong though. I think
look at that! You got a Bryan Cranston. Yeah. So it's 1-1.
I just think Mark Strong skews a little too young.
Well, my only downside with Mark Strong, too, is he looks a little too villainous also. That was my hardest part about casting him. I actually do really like Bryan Cranston a lot.
That's okay. So Patrick Stewart can do both, so...
That's true. So right now, Daniel voted for you, even though Daniel doesn't count because he's a muttonhead. And he's on a second-rate flip side of the coin comic show.
Oh, he's coming at you, Bishop. Don't let him do that.
Bishop? You mean Morph.
Called him Bishop all earlier
today. I said Morph. So you got Panther 7 says Cranston.
So
Looks like you
said
won
that he liked my Nightwing casting. So let's see if she's 2 for 2.
All right. So far you're winning out with Bryan Cranston. He doesn't do it for his face. All right. Fair enough. We'll give you that for Bryan Cranston. I'll let you call out the next one. You can go first.
Oh, the next person?
Yeah.
Let's go with Magneto.
Okay.
It's pairing.
I forgot who I chose.
Magneto. I did Vincent Cassel, who's a French
choice.
actor.
That was my Doctor Doom choice.
Was it?
Yeah. Back when we did the Doctor Doom casting.
He was in The Bourne Identity recently. He's also been in Trance. He's basically he plays like French villains or whatever. He's a really good actor. The only thing that goes against him is the French accent. Thank you over there. So I don't know how you can play that off. I'm not sure if he can do an American accent or close to a German accent, but I think he's very villainous.
I literally just saw the Winston Churchill movie called The Darkest Hour last week, and a dude that can disappear into any role is Gary Oldman.
Okay.
Fifth Element, amazing, and you would not think that same guy is Commissioner Gordon or the dude Sirius Black from Harry Potter.
I cannot tell that he's Sirius Black. I'm always trying to look for Gary Oldman.
Right?
I can't see him.
when I actually saw Churchill, he completely transformed, and I didn't even know it was Gary Oldman in it. But that is my choice for Magneto, a strong character actor where somebody that's not going to be a distracting look. You pick somebody that's not recognizable enough, because I felt like I was going to go Christoph Waltz.
Okay.
But I felt like Christoph Waltz is too recognizable. So I went with Gary Oldman, who can disappear into a role, almost like a Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay.
Actually, he would have been a good Xavier, Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, actually, I was going to pick Daniel Day-Lewis as Magneto.
I was too for a slim
But
second.
the fact that he said he's never going to do a superhero film and that he's retiring from acting, I was like, all right, I'm not going to go there because it's not going to happen.
So we're already getting votes in. Road Scholar Comics says Vincent Cassel's a fantastic actor. Anna Miles says Gary Oldman. Yeah, Kat also says Gary Oldman. Panther 7 says Gary Oldman.
Nice. You got the Gary
Blackwing
Oldman.
said, wait, never mind. I don't know, Blackwing, who's the guy on the left? Gotcha. Super Samurai says Gary. It looks like Gary Oldman's going to win it.
Looks
so
like
we're
he's
gonna
got it.
We're 1-1 here.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
I
All
do
right,
too.
you go next.
Okay. X-Men wouldn't be complete without their leader. I'm sporting his gear right here. I'm going Cyclops. We got to talk
Okay.
about Cyclops, right?
Let's talk about Cyclops.
So I'm going to go first. The
baby.
Cyclops I chose is, I personally think it's an obvious choice. Rumored to be in a lot of superhero movies in the past. I went Armie Hammer. I think Armie Hammer has the look of Cyclops.
I like
he has the height and he
it.
has the voice. And he has that demeanor, especially when you see him as the Winklevoss twins in Social Network. He's that kind of guy that could be a Cyclops figure. So I went Armie Hammer.
Well, I went with one of my regulars, the walking sex on legs or whatever, John Hamm. You know he can do Cyclops because Cyclops is a little bit of a douche, but he's an alpha male. He can do leadership. He's also right around the right age. He looks good with my Jean Grey, and he looks like he would get into an argument with Wolverine, my Wolverine, all the time. So that's why I chose John Hamm. And he wants to do a superhero franchise. I think at this point he needs a job.
He's in his 40s.
He's really
though, no?
good.
Right?
I think, yeah, early to mid.
Yeah, I think, and Armie Hammer is in his early 30s. So I think, personally, I think he has a little bit more longevity for these type of movies. And he ages pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
both do though, realistically.
I like Armie Hammer as
And
a choice.
truth is, both have a very similar look. So I mean, either way. So right now we're getting it in. Kat says Armie Hammer. Anna says Armie Hammer. Super Samurai also goes with Armie Hammer.
All
It looks
right.
like Armie Hammer could be our Cyclops.
Guys, don't be hating on John Hamm, okay? He's
Blackwing,
fantastic.
Armie Hammer. Daniel says, "Wow, John Hamm, trippy, human tripod." Serenity, Joe is killing this. Oh, thank you so much, Serenity.
We're not killing anything.
No, we're
we just
2-1.
won up.
Yeah, so Armie Hammer looks like the Cyclops choice. Both are great choices though, because if I would went a slightly older, John Hamm was actually on my list as
Yeah.
well. I'll let you choose the next.
Well, we have to go Jean Grey.
Gotta go Jean Grey.
And I picked Jessica Chastain.
Oh, we did. We both picked Jessica Chastain.
Jean Grey all the way. I love her. She's got that sort of innocence, that wholesome look, but she can also go dark. Watch Molly's Game, watch Miss Sloane. She's got that tough exterior that she could do as well.
Oh, Panther 7 has a great point about Cyclops. He says, Armie Hammer for Dark Phoenix, John Hamm for Age of Apocalypse. Great choice.
Nice. That's
also,
like a split decision.
Yeah, so with this, the reason, all right, so originally this was not my first choice.
Right, you had to change it.
I had to change it because I didn't realize that the first choice I had was in a Marvel Cinematic movie, and I chose Rachel McAdams, actually. But the one thing I do love about Jessica Chastain, funny enough, with Armie Hammer and John Hamm, she's right in the middle with their ages.
Like you could see her with both of them.
Exactly. And I love Jessica Chastain for this role. I almost want to say that she's made for that role.
She'd be so good in it. But you'll see her next year in Dark Phoenix as one of the villains. So
Yeah.
the unknown villain.
Serenity says, after you're all done, I'm going to have to cherry pick. Oh, yeah, I agree. I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think you did win out with Brian. That's a great choice. Bryan Cranston, I would have chosen more
Love
strong,
it.
too.
You'd make a great Professor X.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's go with a strong female X-Men character. I want to
Okay.
go with Storm.
Okay.
The Storm I chose was Gugu Mbatha.
Oh yeah, she was on my short list.
I love her. I think she's due for she was due for a superhero movie. I know that she was up for the role of Domino in Deadpool, and she's a fantastic actress. And she has the strength and power and strength of like a warrior to pull this role off. And she's a great actress.
I skewed a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, and that is Naomi Harris.
Great choice.
Stars as Moneypenny on the James Bond films, and she was in Moonlight earlier this year. Fantastic actress, also a chameleon. I think she's got that regal presence to her as well, because if this was 20 years ago, me and you talked about it earlier, we would have cast Angela Bassett.
In a heartbeat.
And I put Angela Bassett on my short list,
So
but
did
once
I,
I
actually.
started casting, I was like, she's like too, she's older than a lot of the other characters that I'm.
Yeah, you know what? Blackwing says, why not Lupita? She was actually on my list. Lupita, but the only reason I didn't cast her is because I felt, looking at it from a studio perspective, that she's going to be too busy with Star Wars for a while.
That, and she's also in Black Panther. We try, or at least I tried to do it where you're not already tied to a franchise or anything else.
And I just think, me personally, I think
Really?
I think Gugu Mbatha is on the verge of superstardom. She was just in Beauty and the Beast, and I think that she's on the verge of a franchise like the X-Men. I wouldn't be surprised to see her in a superhero movie very soon.
Also, Lupita, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she could pull off Storm right now. Maybe give her 10 more years.
Daniel doesn't give us a fair answer. He says, "Damn, Joe, you're keeping young, relevant, and hot."
Hot.
I actually think your actress is great though right now, especially mainly because Marvel honestly could probably get her at a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
At this point in her career, which is something Marvel obviously does very well. Serenity says Lupita and Angela Bassett are my storms. I 100% agree with Angela Bassett and Lupita. The only reason I agree with Migdalia didn't go that route is because of Black Panther. Again, you're making it hard for me. I love both actresses. Grew up on Naomi Harris, so that's a tie.
Rhodes Scholar says you're both. Wow, they both are wonderful. Again, you guys are making this difficult.
Looks like a tie. So we're going to say that one's a tie?
Let's say it's a tie. All right.
Looks like a wash. I'll let you choose the next one. I just
Well, I thought you were going to jump to Wolverine. So
I forgot all that one.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this one because this was. I'm not going to lie. This one was a super hard one for me. Like it was so hard. I went back and forth on this one.
The one thing I could say about the Fox MCU is that they did really good casting.
Yeah, dude. It's so
hard.
funny. I just watched Mission Impossible the other night on HBO because I don't know if everybody knows this, but Dougray Scott was originally supposed to be Wolverine.
Yes, I love him.
But he was caught up into Mission Impossible and he couldn't do it.
It's a great movie, though.
James Bond, he was supposed to be James Bond, ended up breaking his arm and didn't do that either.
Poor Dougray Scott.
Yeah, it does. All right, so actually, we're going to give it to you. Anna Miles says Naomi Harris.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Naomi Harris. You get that one. I think we're tied at 2-2.
We're tied. 2-2-2.
All right, so Wolverine, why don't you go first?
Wolverine. After I saw the fan reaction to Dredd.
Oh my gosh, he was my very first choice.
And I just saw him in Thor Ragnarok, but I spent the entire film looking for him. I did not know he was Scourge for the longest. I chose Carl Urban. Obviously, he can change his body type. Obviously, he has that grit, and he can pull off that anger quite well. This is not just Scotty, ladies and gentlemen. This could be the next Wolverine. He's young enough.
Great choice.
Could you imagine him?
All right, so he's the only reason I didn't choose him actually because of his age.
But he's right around John Hamm.
He's in his mid-40s.
Yeah,
which
Jessica Chastain.
No, I agree. So
okay, I see what you're saying.
I went with him originally, and I said Carl Urban, but then I was like, oh, but he was Scourge.
He doesn't look like he's
No, he doesn't at all. And I met him in person. He's very charming too. Then I went Colin Farrell.
But spoiler alert, Scourge is dead.
Well, yeah, technically.
So now he needs a job. Yeah. Star Trek is not going to production anytime soon.
Well, so I went with, I actually went with Michael Huseman. Now, if you're not familiar with Michael Huseman, he is Dario on Game of Thrones. I feel that he's charming enough and gritty enough where he could pull off the role. But he was a wild card. And the reason I chose him too is because he wasn't familiar enough where people can tie him to being like, oh, you're Colin Farrell or you're whatever, Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Right.
I wanted to go with an unknown because I want Wolverine to be like an unknown, kind of like Hugh Jackman was, kind of. Mm-hmm. But Serenity says, yeah, Carl got this one. So you got Carl on that one.
Super Samurai says Carl.
Yep. Looks like you're edging
Miles
it out
Judge
right
Dredd.
now.
Is that a vote, or are you just calling that?
I think that you got this one pretty good. I think Kat likes my choice, but everybody else you got. Cool. I say let's go with Rogue next.
Okay.
I chose personally. I think she can play a Southern belle because she's been playing a Southerner for a while now. Mm-hmm. I went with Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead.
Oh.
I personally think she could be a brilliant Rogue. She's 35 years old.
Okay.
So she could play that Southern belle, and she's already playing that kind of now on The Walking Dead, and you know she's a badass because that's what her character on The Walking Dead's all about.
I went with Ana de Armas,
Who I am madly in love with, by the way.
who was recently in Blade Runner. And this is kind of where you'll change up her backstory a little bit to cater to her accent and her origins, which I was talking to you earlier. I was going to do with Magneto. I was going to switch Magneto's backstory up to being a black man and stemming from all that, you know, the civil rights and everything like that. But I decided not to touch that. And I went with changing up Rogue's backstory a little bit. You know, she's young, she's innocent looking again. I could see her, you know, having super strength and getting it on with my Gambit and yeah, or my Wolverine or my Magneto.
She has, I think she has the right look.
Yeah.
Both choices are great. Like I said though, Lauren, for me, it's that she has already proven she can do a Southern accent. So that's something you don't have to worry about. And she already knows she's a badass.
Well, and I wanted to skew younger with mine too to fit Jubilee's age range.
All right, so Kat, Super Samurai, and Anna all say Lauren.
Cool. Okay.
So we're tied at 3-3. It looks like
again.
so far. I'm really curious to see what Serenity chooses because I want to see. Serenity seems to have a really good grasp on the X-Men characters and skewing it pretty fair. Serenity don't know either of the actors, but based on looks, Miggy gives you the choice.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. But I think that one is going to Lauren Cohen. All right, so Lauren hands down says Panther 7. All right, I chose Rogue, right? So why don't you go next?
Oh, we have to go with Gambit.
This is going to be an interesting one.
This is going to be interesting.
Actually,
I'm going to win this one. I know it.
I knew who I was picking right off the bat.
Okay, unless we have the same one.
You want to go first? Or did I go? I went first. You go first.
Okay. I picked my fan cast for the last 10 years.
Is it Idris Elba?
No.
Okay.
Josh
Josh
Holloway.
Holloway. Okay. The only reason I didn't choose Josh is because he's a little older now, and he was offered the role earlier.
Was he, though?
I picked Tom Paine. Now, if you don't know who Tom Paine is, can you show the other picture of Tom Paine, by chance? Tom Paine is Jesus in The Walking Dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. and the reason I picked Tom, though, is because not only that, but he, in The Walking Dead, he you know he can fight because he already does Gambit's moves. And the last episode on The Walking Dead, he sold me because he took Morgan's stick and started doing everything with the staff. So I was like, dude, this dude, wait till you get to see him as Jesus when we get that picture
But
up.
haven't you seen Sawyer?
I'm telling you, man, besides that giant beard, that dude is a younger version of Gambit.
Listen, Sawyer is like street smart. He's totally street. He's always getting into arguments.
True,
with
I'm
Matthew
not-
Fox. Seducing.
But the only thing is, your
Evangeline.
Sawyer and your Gambit's or your Gambit and Rogue's ages are they differ a lot.
Not that much.
Tom
That's
Paine,
not that creepy looking.
Tom Paine, and Tom Paine. First of all, he already has chemistry with Lauren Cohen from The Walking Dead. They have a lot of scenes together, but I think it's a different dynamic. I really like Tom for this one. I'm really curious. Kat already says Tom. Tom wins hand down.
Wow, surprise.
I'm really curious to see what everyone else says. Josh Holloway was the obvious choice, but for me, it was just a little too.
He's
old.
got. I don't think he needs to be so young for this role. It's not like being Wolverine, which I will agree with. You need to be a little younger.
Well, Daniel agrees that he's the right age for your cast. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what everybody else says. But Jesus is Gambit. Joe wins.
No,
Daniel
you
goes
said
with Gambit.
Daniel is a muttonhead, so he doesn't count.
Counts
Sorry, no.
Well, Super Samurai does say Tom. See, but it's such a sleeper pick, though, too. Is it not somebody super? Well, I guess same thing with Josh Holloway, though, as well. Anna also says Tom.
Donatello.
Can't nobody go full Donatello like Tom Paine. Yeah, that's what he did in the last episode, man. Looks like Tom is going to win. I don't think they need to be the same age. Gambit is a better choice, bit older than Rogue. So there you go for Rhodes Scholar Comics. Serenity says,
What? He doesn't like Josh Holloway.
"You lost me because I don't like the dude from Lost at all." Joe wins. His choice has the hair and the look.
So you're letting personal feelings cloud your judgment. Okay.
Road Scholar Comics also says, "I say Pain." Looks
Okay,
like
looks
Tom
like you
Paine
got
is
it.
gonna win. All right, so
I kind of lost count where we were.
I lost count too.
Wait, we were tied.
We were tied. So Gambit was I'm ahead by 1.
Okay.
It's very close though.
Yeah.
Who else do we got in the X-Men? Jubilee?
Yeah.
Beast?
Jubilee, Beast, and our villains.
Yes, Jubilee,
We
Beast.
still
and
have
the
a few to
villains.
go.
Okay, so you chose Gambit. Let's go Beast.
Okay.
Let's
Guys,
go Beast. You want to go first? Or you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. And I called it, didn't I? Did I not call this off air? I knew it.
You
I
know who
freaking
I'm
knew it.
casting. I
freaking
had
knew it.
to look far and wide to see where I'm going to place this man in my cast.
This is actually a really good choice, though.
And I chose Idris Elba, of course. And it made me sad because he's going to have to be under prosthetics, and I hated that about Star Trek until the end. So, yeah, I think it would be interesting role for him because he could play the dorky kind of the scientist who's, like,
he can
withdrawn.
Play, he can play anything.
He could play
Let's be real.
anything. But he would be more withdrawn than the characters he's used to playing.
No, I think that's a great choice. I personally went with David Harbour of Stranger Things.
But he's in Hellboy.
He is in
Take
Hellboy.
that into account. He's busy.
He is in Hellboy. I mean, Idris Elba is always
He
busy.
just wants a better role. He doesn't want to do Hamdall anymore.
Yeah, and he's already in the
Sword.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, that doesn't count. He's got like a bit player role.
I went with because look,
shot all his scenes
the
in one
reason I
week.
went with David Harbour is because he can play the fatherly role. We've seen him do it with 11. He can sound smart, and he's a great voice of reason. The other reason
He's
I went
busy.
with him as well,
Stranger Things and
the reason I also went with him too is also because he is a little older than the rest of my cast, so it seems like he's closer to Xavier.
he looks like Kelsey Grammer. In that picture, he
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
looked like Kelsey
Kind of why I
Grammer.
chose him a little bit. But yeah, so right now, people are saying Super Samurai gives this one to you. Good choice.
Okay. Yeah.
Kat gives it to me. Daniel has to stay undecided. Panther, Idris, just because Miggy held out for this long. So far, it looks like you're winning on this beast one. Actually, you got a great choice, though, by the way.
I love it. I like it a lot.
I'm weighing in on what Serenity says here. Because
Does
Serenity's
Beast
been
have
pretty
a love interest? In
good
the-
choice again. Really difficult. Road Scholar Comics undecided at the moment. Right now,
Oh,
you're leading by
goodness.
one. You're leading this vote by one. But if you get this one, we're tied. Which means we did a pretty good job then, technically.
This is not like the Nightwing one where everyone was just like, okay,
Yeah.
it's this person. Okay,
Both
it's
good
that
choices.
person.
Yeah, again, really difficult. Yeah, this one is a tough one. It's
It was tough for us. to
Anna
even
Miles says
cast.
David Harbour. So I think we're tied. We're exactly tied right now. So who's going to be that tiebreaker vote?
Where's Carlos Martinez?
You banned him.
Did
You
not.
banned him.
That was
Serenity,
Desert.
knew it. Put the black man in
Shut
colored
up!
makeup,
I just
LOL.
said I didn't want to do that.
I've never seen Idris do comics, comedic again. Would be great to see him as another character.
That's
Cyclops
exactly
Bishop.
right.
I'm
And-
going with Joe again.
And if you didn't know, he was really disappointed with the direction they took his character on The Office because he wanted that to be quirky
Charles.
and funny, and they just made him like the straight-laced
I didn't know
American
that.
guy. Yeah, he was like really disappointed.
Did I ever tell you that my first introduction to Idris Elba was actually The Office, and I didn't know he was British. I actually thought he was American.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I saw him in that Beyonce movie and didn't know who he was.
So it looks like David Harbour, as of right now, because
But Daniel said Idris, so his vote counts now.
he just said Idris did a comedic. He said he was undecided. Started. So yeah, Daniel, who are you choosing, man? Also, Road Scholar Comics, who you picking? We're gonna wait a couple seconds on that,
Okay.
but get ready because Jubilee's gonna be up next.
Jubilee.
Now,
Speaking
let's-
of hard casting.
But before we get too much into Jubilee, real quick. Let's talk about our casting process for Jubilee, because this was one of the hardest ones. This was the,
tough.
the
And
last person
I
to
understand
cast.
why they went for unknown for Apocalypse. This was like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
God, Hollywood. Jeez, put some more Asian actresses out there.
Gerard
or Japanese
Butler
actresses.
got back in a 300 chip. He'd be a good beast.
Oh God, I don't see that meathead on there.
So right now we're tied. It looks like we're tied again with Beast. So are we at a dead set tie?
That's it.
Dead set tie. All right. Let's move on to Jubilee. I'll go first. I went with an unknown actress in the age. She's 25 years old.
Okay.
Which is skews a lot younger in my cast. Her name is Christine Ho.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she would be great.
That's all you got to say.
It's the same look. Yeah.
Well, I went with Once Upon a Time Disney princess,
Brenda
Song. She was in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She's currently dating Macaulay Culkin. I don't know if she's Japanese, but that's all I got. That's all I had.
Yeah, the girl I chose is Korean.
So shameful.
Road Scholar goes Idris, so we are exactly tied with Beast. No, I'm sorry, you won Beast, so we're tied.
But I
overall.
prefer him as Blade. Actually, Road Scholar, I did a press junket with Idris, and I was
about that.
discussing bigger roles for him in the MCU. I was like, how about Blade? He's like, nah, Wesley Snipes got that. Like, no one could do better than Wesley, which I can agree with. But I'm like, oh, dude, I still want you in there.
Yeah, Wesley's really good in that role. Lee's really good in that role.
And Daniel picks Idris too.
So right now, Super Samurai's picking Song, Brenda Song. It looks like I'm gonna go with Roe to be Great Blade. Okay, I love Joe's choice for Jubilee. We're tied 1-1. That was Kat. Tied 1. Thanks, Kat. Anna Miles says Brenda Song. So it looks like you're winning so far on this one. And this would put you at the skip at the.
Oh no, up
tipping
2.
Point. You're up 1.
Oh.
You'd be up 1 overall. Brenda Song
But
takes
then
it.
I get
Daniel
Idris-
gives it.
I got-
Yeah, you did, but that tied us.
Okay.
You just tied us. So Brenda Song, you were in the lead right now with Jubilee. Also Brenda Song, another one. Black Panther 7. That's funny. I should have won with fucking Brenda Song. I knew it. There was gonna be one that held me up. All right, so now we're in our other 3 villains. We have Magneto, right?
We did him.
So we have 3 more
what she
villains to go. I mean, you can go Sebastian Shaw. I'll do Sabretooth because
Okay.
those are opposite and it's kind of a wash.
So we might as well not count that towards the
It
points.
doesn't count towards the points, no, because, I mean, they're going to be both, right? So just letting you know, for my Sabretooth, I needed somebody that was physically bigger than the guy I chose.
Yeah, sorry. Serenity says Jubilee's actually Chinese. I thought she was half
She
Japanese
is
for some
Chinese.
reason.
She's
Okay.
Chinese.
Thank you for that.
See, so Sabretooth, I needed to go somebody bigger than my Wolverine. My Wolverine is Dario from Game of Thrones, so I needed somebody bigger. I went with Joe Manganiello.
Ooh. But he's Deathstroke.
That's all right.
You're getting people who are hung up on other things.
And
They're going to be turning down
And
this.
Idris Elba's not involved in.
Barely.
in
He
Thor.
filmed his scenes for Thor 3 in like a week. Come on, Joe.
No,
That's not being hung up.
He is Carl Urban. Come on.
Carl Urban's not doing anything
He's
right
a
now.
superstar. These guys, and we don't even know if his character is even going to end up in any movie because they rewrote the whole Batman script. Joe Manganiello, Sabretooth. Tell me he wouldn't be a great Sabretooth.
I can see it. Looks good. You know what? I was gonna do Sabretooth, but put Liev Schreiber back in there.
Of course. That's
He's
your
so
one character.
good.
He was great. But this dude is menacing. You can see him. And he played a werewolf on True Blood.
Okay.
So he could play that feral type of character that you would need for that Sabretooth-esque,
I like
rough
it.
villain.
I like it a lot. Okay, cool. Instead of a wrestling star.
No, I'm not going to wrestling star. Come on, this guy can act.
Vin
and he
Diesel?
almost, and Joe
want Vin Diesel?
Manganiello almost punched me out at E3
What?
once. Yeah,
Why?
because I grabbed him by the arm and I was like, "Hey, Joe," and he looked at me, and I was like,
Joe,
"Hey,
he's
man."
gonna name your ass in like 2 weeks
No,
on
yeah,
Twitter.
and I grabbed him by the arm and I was like, "Hey," and then he was like, "Whoa," and I was like, "Oh no, I just want a picture. I gotta get a picture." He was like, "Yeah." Then we started talking about Superman, and then he straight up told me, "Were you there, Josh, when this happened?" And he told me, I was like, "Man, I wish you were Superman," and he was like, "Man." I had the role, but True Blood. And I was like, dude, he would have been a great Superman, though, too.
He probably made the right decision though.
Yeah, overall now, yeah.
So I went with Sebastian Shaw, and I picked Ralph Fiennes, who was
That was my original Magneto.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was moving him around, but I was like, look at that face. Look how
That's a good
menacing that
choice.
is. Voldemort.
Yeah.
Brought in as Sebastian Shaw.
That would put him as iconic level 2 as like Ian McKellen, in geek culture at least. Mm-hmm. Voldemort
Yeah.
and Sebastian Shaw. That's a good choice.
And then when she see my Emma Frost, this is gonna be a good-looking Hellfire Club. And Mystique, yeah.
All right, let's move on because both of those are a wash. So right now you're leading by 1. Mm-hmm. There can only be one winner because it plans out that way. Let's do Emma Frost.
Okay.
The Emma Frost I went with is none other than an actress that I think should get every role in the world, Alice Eve.
Oh God.
Alice Eve.
She's too young.
No, but she makes sense according to my cast's age. Alice Eve is about, because you got to think, she ends up with Cyclops, which is she's about the same age as Armie Hammer, and she could carry on for a while, and she was already established in a franchise in Star Trek.
Was she established?
Well, she was in it, and
Or she was in her
she was in
underwear.
it, and she was great. But I really like Alice Eve for this role.
I went with the White Queen in real life herself, Charlize Theron.
That's racist.
She is. She's like an icy queen, and I love it. She just owns up to, her reputation in Hollywood. She's like 6 foot tall, Amazonian. I can see her going toe to toe.
She's not. That doesn't scream Emma Frost to me.
She's frosty. She's a frosty bitch.
Well, no, I mean her stature doesn't scream, because Emma Frost to me should be like supermodel-esque.
You don't think Charlize Theron is supermodel-esque?
I mean lingerie model-esque. I really should say.
You don't think she can be lingerie model-esque?
Yeah, because
look at the Atomic Blonde premiere photos.
The big thing about Alice Eve. Oh, here we go.
So the big boobs popping out of her dress right there?
Well, that's what Emma Frost's all about, dude.
No, Charlize doesn't have to do too much to be sexy, to be
Alice
powerful.
Eve is already British, which Emma Frost is supposed to be.
Charlize can do a British accent if you didn't see Atomic Blonde.
She cannot do a British accent, and I did see Atomic Blonde.
Okay, well, half the people won't even notice or
You gotta admit
care.
her British accent was bad.
People won't.
I saw it with you, actually. It was bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so hold on. We got it. So Kat says Alice Eve. Serenity says you got Emma and Mystique, too. Ooh, I'm waiting. Road Scholar Comics. Alice Eve is she has a lot of personality. She's going with he's going with Alice Eve.
I don't know if that's what he said. He just said she's got personality.
Right now, super.
He said there. Charlize Theron.
Super Samurai is going with Miggy.
So is Road Scholar.
Wait, where's that say that?
Right under the personality thing.
It's
Theron all the way. She.
Oh, Theron. Yeah. All right, so Superhuman's going with you. Daniel's going with you. Anna's going with me. My head says Alice. My heart says Charlize. I don't know if that's an answer. Both women are gorgeous, though. So we're not. I mean, I feel like we gotta have to have Serenity chime in now because it seems tied.
I don't know. We can count. It doesn't have to seem anything. All right.
Alice, who? Now this is where I would race Ben and use Gugu and Bothra. Oh, that's a good choice, actually. Gugu and Bothra would be a good choice for this. Personality equals boobs.
I didn't go outside of the Aryan look because I think that's what they want to go for with Emma Frost. Like, that's why I didn't kind of go off that beaten path a little bit.
All right, looks like you won this one, Emma.
This one.
I mean, you're going to win overall now because it doesn't really matter who I choose for.
Charlize is not gaunt. She's curvy, if you haven't seen. No, she is. She's not gaunt.
Not like Alice Eve.
Because Alice Eve is shorter.
Is she?
Yeah. Charlize Theron's like 6 foot.
Well, Emma's British accent is fake anyway, so that's fine. I choose Charlize Theron. All right, it looks like you're gonna win with Charlize.
That's funny.
Now we got to go. Our final character in this whole thing was Mystique, right?
Yeah, but I'm up 2 already, so.
You're up 2, so you're gonna win no matter what. My Mystique is not Alice Eve. I'm just.
I mean, what?
Prosthetic, you like how Josh never roll. Took this off the screen, by the way?
These are our choices for Mystique, too.
No, I chose Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones.
Ooh. Oh, my God, we got 2 Game of Thrones.
That's hilarious. Oh, you got a great choice, by the way. The only reason I chose Natalie, though, is because of her youth. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Mystique, for some odd reason, sticks around in these roles way too long. So I just went with somebody that was young that could stay in this role. But both are great choices. Matter of fact, honestly, Lena Headey would have been a great Emma Frost also.
Yeah, I was back and forth with this one too. I moved her from Emma to Mystique just because of her stature, and I think she can channel in Rebecca Romijn's attitude, which I love. I love Rebecca Romijn's take on Mystique.
You know, you really won with the villains, whereas I feel like I edged you out with the actual X-Men. Then you got every villain, right? Oh, except Magneto, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Good choices,
though. That was fun. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I loved your choices, too. That was more fun than the Nightwing one, because I actually really know these people, so it was easy.
Those were all great choices, and I think, like, for sure, I would have taken your Xavier. I didn't even think of Bryan Cranston. I don't know why I didn't, but he would be phenomenal.
I mean, once he shaved his head in Breaking Bad, everyone was like, "Oh, put him in X-Men, Professor X."
Yeah, or Lex Luthor, right? Like,
he didn't get Lex Luthor. That was another reason why I casted him. So.
This one's well, it doesn't matter. I couldn't have won this whole thing anyway, but a lot of people are saying that they like Natalie on this one.
The evil eye thing going on. I don't know if she could carry prosthetics well. I was kind of thinking about that as well. She's got this weird, and it's not making fun of her. I think it's a facial structure thing.
Technically, too, I cheated a little bit on that one because she is technically in the MCU. She's in Captain America, the original. Cap takes her on the date. Nobody would really remember.
Yeah,
but she technically is in the MCU.
She's definitely not involved anymore. So
yeah, but anyways, that was a lot of fun. That was a fantastic choices. Now we want to hear your choices for these X-Men. Leave a message in the THS hashtaggers group, and vote on who or not vote. Choose your X-Men fan cast based on the characters we chose in this one. And Migdalia and I are going to get together and figure out which one of you guys is going to get all this Marvel stuff.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. You do win. Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. Good job.
Yeah, it was a
You're
lot
in
of
as
fun.
well. I'm all winded now. I was all
know.
excited about this all day.
Yeah, the X-Men Fancast, right? We had it in a little group chat of like what we were going to do this week, and this one worked out well. And we got a lot of fan interaction with a lot of you guys because it seems like a lot of you guys love the X-Men. So my question for you guys now is next week here on After Dark, depending on any news breaking, what would you guys like us to do next week? We're going to put it in your hands, fans' choice. That's
Well,
kind of
Kat, he
dangerous.
didn't win. I won. So
She won.
why don't you be a woman supporter and support me?
Migdalia did win this one, hands down. You won by 2, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I won't be around for the next few weeks.
Yeah, you're going to be gone.
Yeah.
But what would you want us to either Fancast, talk about? Any subject is open. Unfortunately, we can't take phone calls.
What?
We don't have the thing to take phone calls. I guess we technically could. We don't have the speaker here, though. So we're not taking phone calls this week. However, next week we probably will be. But let us know what you guys want us to cover. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, Road Scholar Comics.
What about fan casting Star Wars?
But
That's
how?
harder,
That's super
right?
hard. That's so
Yeah.
iconic. Like that's really hard.
Well, you'd have to get a list together.
You know what we should do? I mean, this would be a really fun one for our sister channel, Pop Culture Renegades, to fan cast a cinematic Star Trek: The Next Generation movie.
Oh, snap.
Since they did, you know how they that would tie into their cinematic universe, and that'd be a lot of fun.
Jeez.
Us personally, we did the Fantastic Four already.
Did you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember who I was on there with, but we definitely did the Fantastic Four. So that one's already been done. I don't know what other franchises there would be. I mean, there's obviously a ton.
Toy Story?
Ooh, I think we did Just League Dark. Yeah, that was the one where like I chose Daniel Craig as Constantine.
Nah.
Um,
I was gonna do Daniel Craig as.
I did Ron Perlman as Swamp Thing.
I was gonna do him as Sebastian Shaw for a minute.
He would have been great. Daniel Craig would have been great as Sebastian Shaw. If he shaves his head, he'd be a great Xavier too, technically.
But he's definitely way too busy.
Oh,
He
yeah,
can't
there's
do
no
anything
way.
else right now.
There's no way. What about? Let's see. What other franchises would be fun to cast? Or something that's like kind of underrated. Of like
Buffy.
I don't know Buffy well enough to cast it.
I think I was maybe do Nightwing.
We did Nightwing.
Yeah, you made me do it. I didn't know that well enough.
What about Captain Planet?
He's our hero. I
Oh
don't
well,
know
everyone
yet,
wants
'cause,
Justice League Dark, so we'll do another Justice League Dark. We'll recast Justice League Dark, fan cast it. But if we do Justice League Dark, let's do something really special. Because actually, I love Oh, Batgirl would be good too.
but we don't know the cast of Batgirl.
All right, so I like Justice League Dark, so let's do Justice League Dark. But here, let's do something fun also. Why don't you guys send in videos of your fan casts for Justice League Dark so we can play those at the end of the show? You can send those to fanquestions at fanquestions at thathashtagshow.com. Send your videos in. We're going to play them on the show, and then we'll choose which one we like the best. But I do
love
like Justice League
that.
Dark. We'll do that one. Guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has.
Thank you so much for joining us, and
Have a good Thanksgiving, guys, because I won't be on the air for a few weeks.
but let them know where they can find you
Back
besides
home
social
to
media.
Jersey.
On social media, since you won't be here, they can follow all your East Coast
Thanksgiving.
updates.
Yes. You can follow me on Instagram at Miggy Cosplay, on my Facebook page and Twitter, Miggy Spicy. Again, guys, nothing personal, but if you friend request me on my personal social media sites, I'm not going to hit accept.
Why?
Because I don't accept requests from strangers. Even though I love you guys, I that's why I have a fan page on Facebook, so I can share my life with you that way.
Great. You can also check me out at that hashtag Joe. I am here most of every Saturday, and we're both on Screen Rant.
Yes.
Check us out over at Screen Rant, and thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
And
Next week, Justice League
thanks
Dark.
to Joe, I got to interview Idris Elba.
And you're probably gonna interview him again. I mean, let's be real about it. It's probably gonna happen again. But it was a lot of fun, and thank you guys so much for joining us. And hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending.
In geek pop culture.
However the thing goes.
You don't know how the theme song
No, I
goes?